Right.
You know, just like this.
Absolutely.
They just somebody added it and
Yeah, especially because
just FYI.
a lot of things could hit it.
You've got mixed breakers. Cutler Hammer, T&B. Murray made the panel. Murray says you got to use our breakers because that's what we UL tested with. I see it all the time, but manufacturers, because it's a mixed breaker, you shouldn't use other manufacturers. They UL test with their breakers only.
Square D, Square D.
Right. And then index the panel. They don't have a lot written down here as to what goes to what. They did the 220s at the top, and that's it. They do have the air conditioner, which is marked as this 30. When we go to the side and we look at the air conditioner, it says minimum 20, maximum 25. So obviously 30 is just slightly oversized, but considering that the manufacturer says max 25, minimum 20, then that is the max size breaker they want on the unit. So you can switch it to a 20 or a 25. They do exist. They just don't carry them at Home Depot all the time.
Right.
But any electric supply store will sell it. But 20 will work. But and if you talk to HVAC folks, half of them say, well, that's just to keep it from kicking when it charges up. Hey, the manufacturer says 25.
That's right.
You know, if it says 20, if 30 was okay, why didn't they just say 30?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm betting it was built for 25. 'cause
I'm
it's what the
guessing
manufacturer
since it
put on
says 25. We do have some cracks as we go around. Let's look this way just really quickly. You can see I'm just kind of stepping down. Here's one here. There's one underneath the decking, and then there's another small one behind this storage area.
Yeah.
You can see we don't have a lot of drainage, so when that downspout comes out, it ponds right here next to the
Oh,
foundation.
yeah.
You can see where we're starting to erode next to the foundation. We don't want freeze and thaw around here, 33 and rain, and then we drop at night. Then that soil will expand. So you want to take this downspout and move it away from the building.
Right.
This has been bolted to the building, but again, and this is treated lumber, but again, because we've got so much standing water, you can see my concrete just starting to deface
Flake
there.
off,
Yeah, and so that's going to allow water to get to the base of that.
Do we have hangers?
No, but they've got it T-nailed.
Okay.
I mean, they came in from the end. And then they T-nailed this side. So you just kind of got to watch that. I mean, again, it's wood. Treated lumber will rot.
Yeah.
I have a fence.
Exactly.
That's reminding me of that. This is the driven ground for the electrical. Electrical feeds across here. There is some limbs that are touching, but they're kind of small, and people have cut them back in the past. I didn't see this light come on, but it's probably a sensored light that will come on at
Solar
night.
powered, yeah.
It's got like a little ring thing on it. Obviously, this kind of stuff needs to be scraped, primed, and painted. So the
Right.
wood, this is not treated lumber, and then of course that's not either, and so that's just gotten water in behind it and popped off. The siding itself isn't doing bad. It's been painted and maintained, but a lot of the trim is just really rough. And so I don't know if it was power washed or what. So you really kind of got to scrub some paint into it. And the dormer on the back side is the one that's got the water damage. So on
Water
either side
damage.
of this dormer at the top, both sides of that, the water has gotten to that. There's pictures that I'm going to give you. And that siding is both water damaged and that flashing point. It's because they bring the material all the way down to the shingle.
And didn't use flash.
And so there may
they
be
didn't
flashing
leave
back in there, but it's just soft because it's down so low, it's wicking into the
Yeah.
bottom of it.
Instead of leaving that gap.
Yeah.
about an inch.
And then that dormer, it also needs to be painted. It's just exposed. Nobody's gotten up there and painted it in a long time.
Yeah.
You have gutter screens on those three sides, but not on this side. And this side is the one that has to deal with all the
The trees.
the pine needles. Again, downspout kind of ponding right here in the corner. And this side is the one that's completely full. It's just like, you can see where it's kind of coming over see how the gutter is kind of like, where you
Yes.
can see the debris. This is completely full with leaves and mostly pine needles. This is a heat pump, but because we're so warm, I put the unit, it's set at 68, I set it to 69. The unit kicked on, I got a temperature, I came back out, I kicked it to 78. The heat pump was still turning. It did not automatically kick over to emergency heat. I went to system, I hit system button, it went heat, cool, off. It doesn't allow me to force it into emergency heat. Normally when I kick it up that high, if I jump up 5 or 10 degrees, the heat pump will kick off and the coil will come on. It didn't do it. It kept running the heat pump, and I'm guessing it's because we're so warm. So it's like, oh, we can do that. We can produce that much heat. You know, it's giving me 120 degrees off of the heat pump. So, I mean, but I never got it to kick over to emergency heat. So if we're under 30 degrees, it would kick over to the electric coils, but I never got it to do that today.
To
So we
truly
can look
test
at
it.
that thermostat again and see if we can figure it out. Like I say, I kicked it up and then I came out and this thing was still running. I gave it like 5 minutes, it came out, it was still running. I'm like, okay. So then I would try to do it manually and I never did find a way to kick it out.
Where did you say the dryer event was?
The dryer vent is over here. You have to walk a little further.
Okay.
See,
Oh wow, yeah.
see the thing? And I would expect that floor drain to come out. But there's a board sitting there and leaves and this fencing.
There's no way that
There should be an opening where that floor drain drains out of there. But obviously you gotta pull all that away. This hose bib is a standard hose bib, so inside the house, I'll show you where that shut off is. And that should be shut off and that should have been removed through the winter time.
Yeah, so it didn't burst.
The air conditioner is a 1999. You only get 14 years out of an air conditioner, so we should salute it, and we should budget to replace because of its age. It has an LG&E energy box. The refrigerant line needs to be re-insulated, and again, it ran as a heat pump, but because of the temperature, I can't run it as an air conditioner because refrigerant won't turn to gas. It's a 2-ton unit. The air conditioned condensation line comes out right here, disappears into the ground. It can't do that. It has to discharge to daylight. It needs to be able to drain out. Maybe it goes and discharges out somewhere in there.
In the
didn't see
neighbor's
where it
yard?
came out. So they need to show you where that comes out, and then when you do find the end of it, it does need to be flushed out.
Right.
It has to drain to daylight. There's other
Yeah.
pieces.
Isn't
laying
that
here. This is the
condensation?
off of the air conditioner.
Oh,
This
okay.
goes through the wall. So that has to dump. It's going to dump 12 gallons in a July day.
Yeah.
So maybe these pieces were at the other end. I don't know.
Right,
But
right.
it disappears. I mean, like it's not loose. So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh,
That's what I wanted to do is put my
like,
foot under it.
where is it going? And I've got this tree growing right there. I'm like, I don't know. But
Oh, no.
It has to go out to daylight.
Yeah, we need to chop
Yeah.
it, put an elbow there, and bring it
And
over.
bring it past
Yeah.
past the house. Yes.
Yeah.
This little copper pipe is the end of the TMP for the temperature pressure relief valve with the water heater.
Ah,
Now, technically, that's only 7-inch clearance from the ground. Maybe when you move everything away from there, there's like a little
Closer
brick
to a
sitting there.
foot.
Maybe it's closer to a foot. It's supposed to be a foot. We don't get a foot of snow around here, but that's why it's supposed to be a foot, so you can see where it drips. The dryer discharge, however, is way too low.
Right.
It's too low because not only will debris block it like it's doing now, but even snow could block it. I mean, it's just, I mean, again, you can see how low it is.
How's
It's going to
their
clear
air
the ground
coming
this
out?
far. Right.
how's
So
it
I
gonna
did mention that to the real estate agent because obviously that's a dryer, it's fire risk.
Yeah, that's immediate.
Now it's
Yeah.
not very long, you know, it just goes straight out the back.
Right.
But,
if it goes.
yeah. Okay, let me see if there's anything else outside. AC, condensation line, dryer. We talked about all that. I did not run the washer and dryer. Did they stay?
I don't know. Probably. I mean, Kayla wouldn't want them anyway. So.
Yeah, it sounds like so.
The water heater was built in 2000. That means it is also a budget to replace because you only get 10 to 12 years out of a water heater. It's working.
It's impressive.
It's just that it is a budget to replace. I'm going to put that on here.
Looked like both elements were working.
They are budget to replace. They're both set at one set at B, one set at B, between B and C. It's heating to about 135 degrees, so you only need 150. It's a 50-gallon water heater. Right now, the cold water shutoff to that unit is stuck. I give it some. Try to turn it, but I don't go crazy because I don't want it to
Right.
start to leak. But this is it. So this is the valve that should be able to turn. So that would be what you would turn it off if it started to drip out the side. I've got both elements open, so you can adjust the temperature there. She only needs 120 degrees, so you can set it down. So it heats from the bottom and draws from the top. So if she doesn't need 50 gallons of water, she can just turn the one at the top and turn this one down. If she doesn't, you only use about 16 gallons in a shower. So if it's just her, if it's two
Right.
people, then yeah, you might leave it turned to 120 and turn them both up the same. the valve that you see back here, that one right next to the washer, let me shine a light on it. That is for the hose bib outside, and that one should be turned off in the wintertime. This one over here, next to the right side wall down there, is the main for the whole house. So you would turn that off if you needed it, and that one is that one's working just fine.
Pretty
Now,
lost.
you know
We
how
lost our tag.
I think it's actually a ball valve that someone changed the handle because it literally is off and on.
Oh,
That's it. It's like
Or quarter
and they
inch,
just
quarter
changed the
turn.
handle from the
I
lever to
think
the.
I think so because I went to turn it, I was like, that was it. The water went off. I was like, and back on and off. I'm like, wow, that's
Good to know.
amazing. So cold water shut off, and then the TMP, which I probably wouldn't worry about changing, but just
Yeah.
furnace is in 1998. You get 15 to 20 years on a furnace. I would ask them for their maintenance history just because the filter, the return in the bedroom upstairs is very dirty. We talked about the condensation line. Then there should be should not be a heat supply in an open garage. Now, if she's not going to use it as a garage, she's not going to store gasoline or lawnmowers or her car, then it's a closet.
Right.
Which they're kind of using it for
Instead of
both.
dual.
So yeah. So again, you don't need a firewall if you're not, and you would like a heat source if you're not going to store stuff in here that's got that's combustion.
Right. Okay.
And then again, I put a note on here to ask for their maintenance history. And that filter was a 16 by 20.
And there's suet on the ceiling that we need to find out how it got there.
He's
Yes,
been running some kind of heat
I bet they
source
were
in
like
here.
maybe just burning a fire in here.
maybe that.
Yeah, I was gonna say kerosene.
Oh yeah, kerosene. We'll do that. But that's terrible. That means the fumes were going upstairs. And they have a baby. Oh. Look at the soot on the light bulbs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's thick.
Well, you know they're UK fans, so they probably watch
just
the
don't
game
know
out
any
here
better.
and drink and shut up. No, I mean that's a good thing. Go Cats.
Whatever.
All right, and then once you find that, just that condensation line, there's the exit you want to flush. You can open that. It just pops open, and then you can put a little Clorox in there and put some water in it, and then make sure that it's actually draining.
Okay. Yeah, they probably should do that right away.
Yeah.
And clear that vent, the dryer vent.
Good night.
Absolutely clear that dryer vent. That's a concern.
Well, and it's starting to be air conditioning weather too. I mean,
I don't know
not
what the
long.
third switch does. This is the entry light, and then the other one is this light here. And this. And then
Okay.
this one I didn't figure out. I'm guessing it's some kind of outside light, but I
Maybe
didn't.
his bedroom, maybe.
No, there's a
Oh.
light in there, but it's like not close to the door. We can just ask the owners. No.
I'm the furniture right now.
Yeah. This does have a window, but there's no screen to that window. That and underneath that access is just a cable line.
Oh, okay.
It has a supply vent. I didn't have anything else in here other than, and the smoke detectors are wired in with a battery backup. There's one there in
Oh,
the
that's
hall.
good.
And there's one upstairs in the bedroom.
What's that? Oh, that's where we just
Yeah.
That looks clean. Was the filter itself clean?
Yep. But the
It was backwards, but we fixed it.
Yeah.
Was
I
it?
think, yeah.
It was brand new though.
Yeah, it's a sad though.
Eh,
I don't think
50-50
it,
shot.
based on the return upstairs, I don't think it was clean before yesterday.
What?
Let me see this closet.
Obviously the driveway is concrete and there's all kinds of shit happens in it because it's, breaking up
It's
and
had a life.
moving, yeah. All right, so I'm just going to put here to add extensions to downspouts and redirect water away from the structure. And that's because we're just flat and we don't have any, so
Right.
these comments were based on that. And then there is a tree that is not touching the roof, but it is overhanging close. So just FYI, it is not your tree, but if it's on your property line,
You
then
have
it's
to
your
trim
tree.
it. Yeah.
That limb is, that
Those
limb is
limbs are
yours.
hers.
Shall we turn this out now?
Yeah. All right, let's go up and take a look at the kitchen.
So do you know any Osters? O-S-T-E-R?
Went to Floyd Central with some posters.
Okay, well that's Kayla's dad is an Oster.
Okay.
Yeah. Big Oster family.
Okay, let me see. That one.
Okay.
Okay, take a look at that thermostat and see if you see a way to force it. I didn't see a way to force it over heat. I mean, to.
So it shouldn't say auto, it should just
It
say
should say
on.
EM heat or auxiliary heat, AUX heat, emergency. Usually those are the, and it just goes for me, it just goes straight to heat and cooling off.
option.
I didn't see another.
I don't know,
menu.
it seems fancy, I don't understand it. It's cool. Heat. So what's home today? So you're saying you want to try to make the fan go on?
No, I wanted to
Oh.
go to emergency heat. So if I go just turn it up, and I jumped up, 13 degrees. My heat pump still continues to run.